Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses today. Thank you so much for taking moments out of your day to come before us. Thank you for convening this hearing to discuss AI-enabled crime, efforts to detect and combat such crime, and how law enforcement deploys AI tools. Like so many new technologies, AI is not inherently good or bad. AI-enabled tools can find patterns, sort through vast amounts of information, and may even help law enforcement solve their crimes. But in the wrong hands, the same tools can be used to commit financial fraud, breach national security systems, and to harm our children. When used by law enforcement, this technology has the potential to empower our investigators while also carrying the risk of serious errors with life-changing consequences. That is why it is critical that we proceed thoughtfully and put appropriate guardrails in place so that everyone in our criminal justice system that is using AI-enabled tools, they're using them responsibly, not to the detriment of law-abiding members of our communities. We've already seen what can go wrong when those safeguards are missing. A woman and her family experienced the dangers of using AI-enabled facial recognition technology. Detroit police used a facial recognition tool in an attempt to identify a carjacking suspect using an image from a surveillance camera. The tool matched the surveillance image with a picture of Portia Woodruff, a nursing school student. One morning, as Ms. Woodruff was getting her two children ready for school, police knocked on her door and they told her that she was under arrest for carjacking. She knew right away there must be some kind of mistake, and she gestured at her body as she spoke to law enforcement to point out the obvious, she hoped, to law enforcement, that she was 8 months pregnant. Though the police had not been looking for a visibly pregnant woman, they still handcuffed Ms. Woodruff, took her away from her crying children, held her for 11 hours, searched her phone, and they charged her. After her release, she went straight to the hospital and was treated for dehydration. The charges were dismissed a month later. This case is especially troubling because facial recognition tools have been shown to perform worse on Black individuals, increasing the risk of misidentification and contributing to over-criminalization. AI is only as good as the data it is trained on. And when that data is biased, it exacerbates racial disparities, long embedded in our criminal justice system. An inaccurate tool is dangerous for every single one of us. Not one of us is immune to these mistakes. Thankfully, and in due part to cases like this one, the City of Detroit has adopted new rules to direct the use of facial recognition technology within its police department. And they're simply not alone. Many cities and states have put sensible guardrails in place to limit potentially harmful uses of AI. That's why it was alarming when some of my Republican colleagues recently attempted to pass a moratorium on state and local AI regulations in the Big Ugly Bill, a move that generated bipartisan opposition so much that 40 states' attorneys general and 17 Republican governors, including the governor of my state, Georgia, wrote letters to the Senate in opposition to the proposed moratorium. The governors warned that, and I'm quoting them, people will be at risk until basic rules ensuring safety and fairness can go into effect, end quote. As you'll see behind me, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the Republican governor of Arkansas and former press secretary to President Trump, took to Twitter to quote, I stand with a majority of GOP governors against stripping states of the right to protect our people from the worst abuses of AI. The U.S. must win the fight against China on AI and everything else. But we won't if we sacrifice the health, safety, and prosperity of our people, end quote. While this most recent proposal was ultimately stripped from the bill by a 99-1 vote of the Senate, the Republican chair of the House Energy and Commerce Committee has already vowed to continue to pursue a moratorium, even while acknowledging that federal regulations on AI are still light years away. I stand with those seeking to protect the health and the safety and civil rights of our communities from the abuses of AI, and I hope that we can come together and follow the lead of the states to explore what those guardrails should look like and put them in place. I look forward to learning more from our experts here today. Hearing from you is going to be extremely critical for us on this very important issue. But before I yield, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record two letters. The first, a letter from 17 Republican governors in opposition to a moratorium on state and local regulation on AI, and the second, a letter from 40 state attorneys general, both Republican and Democrats, in opposition to a moratorium on state and local regulation of AI.
Without objection.
I yield.